Tony Brown's Journal may have been the first national television series to inform the nation of its bloodiest race riot. It happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1921. For nearly 80 years, a massacre of blacks was, according to the New York Times, and I quote, never publicly discussed in Tulsa, nor mentioned in classrooms or textbooks. Many residents had no idea that whites burned the city's once prosperous black community to the ground. End of quote. Whites hunted down and slaughtered hundreds of blacks, burned 1,000 black homes, and decimated one of the most prosperous business developments in the United States. The Negro Wall Street, it was called. It was a shameful American version of ethnic cleansing, one white man in Tulsa said. And the killing and looting earned Tulsa the distinction of being the first U.S. city to be bombed from the air, referring to the use of Curtiss JN-4 Jennies to drop incendiary materials, Molotov cocktails, onto black homes. In 1997, the Tulsa Race Riot Commission was formed by the Oklahoma legislature, overcoming a conspiracy that had kept the truth out of the school history books and a nation ignorant of its violent racist past, especially the inflammatory period between 1919 and 1921, and of the prosperity that blacks enjoyed when given the opportunity to compete. I'm Tony Brown. In a moment, reparations for the Tulsa race riot.
At that time, down on Greenwood, you could buy anything you wanted. Anything. Clothes, shoes. They had theaters and everything. And it was pretty. And it, you know, they had lots of customers and things. I was a little nosy kid, and I was just looking to see what all I could see.
The whole evolution of how Tulsa got to be the Greenwood district and blacks settling in. First of all, Tulsa, Oklahoma was the oil capital of the world. They had so much money changing hands long before we dealt business in the Middle East. Tulsa, Oklahoma was the heartbeat of the oil capital of the United States. So as a result of rich corporate America, you had an influx of so many blacks being able to have domesticated work. As a result of the domestics being hired, the physicians, the attorneys, the doctors, the lawyers, and the bottom line was segregation was such a monster in Oklahoma. Oklahoma went from having all these black towns, strong black business districts. In 1915, segregation got so bad you had separate telephone booths in Oklahoma. Only place in the United States that had ever transpired.
The all-black community in Tulsa in the early 1900s had produced some of the richest black families in America. Its financial district was so prosperous that in 1913 it was referred to as the Negro Wall Street. Blacks owned a substantial portion of the land and independently operated their own businesses, hospitals, banks, and schools. On May 31st, 1921, Tulsa was literally torn apart by racial hatred, resulting in one of the worst race riots in the United States history. The facts of this story are debatable, and an obvious attempt to hide them is evident. According to some whites, the riot was sparked by the alleged sexual attack of a white woman by a 19-year-old shoeshine boy named Dick Rowland in an elevator in downtown Tulsa. However, many blacks believed Rowland's version, that he merely stepped on the woman's foot. Subsequently, the charges were dropped, but not before news of the alleged attack gave a mob of angry whites the opportunity that they had been waiting for ever since blacks began to prosper in Tulsa, a chance to destroy the thriving black community of Greenwood. A headline in the